Cordy, and you won't have heard of me, but I've heard of you. I've become quite a fan of Sire Guitars, and I think they make really great instruments for the money, and that's why I'm happy to do this video. My musical journey started off when I was 5, and I started playing piano. Prior to that, I did actually have a tiny mandolin with 4 strings or something like that, and my dad broke it because I hit my brother over the head with it. He was a year older than me, so he probably deserved it. A few years later, I think for my 8th birthday, I got a guitar again. I've sort of not really spent much time not playing the guitar since. Made a thing of sort of playing every day, and you know, when I was sort of 13 and so on, I'd try and practice every single day for at least 2 hours. That's sort of been my thing. Last year, I guess, was kind of the biggest year for me in terms of doing stuff musically. I got a Facebook message from the keyboard player Mark Kelly from Meridian, and he asked me to play on his album. We went and recorded at Peter Gabriel's studio, so that was really cool and very unexpected. He sent me a Facebook message and said, "Hi, I'm the keyboard player from Meridian. Do you want to play on my album?" And I said, "How do you know who I am?" And of course, yes. So, how did I happen across Sire Guitars? Basically, I was looking for a good solid bass guitar for not loads of money, and the Sire Marcus Miller V7, I think it is, that I've got, was something that came up that people said and again, this is a really, really good bass guitar for the money. And I had a friend, Bill Banwell, who was playing Sire basses as well. Essentially, it just made sense to try that. I'm not a full-time bassist, but I needed a bass for some gigs and stuff, also for recording at home. So this Sire Marcus Miller made a lot of sense. Then a couple of years later, they brought out the Larry Carlton series, and I saw some of the reviews, and of course, as you'd expect, they were pretty positive. So I wanted to try one myself and see what it was all about, the fuss. And I was really, really pleasantly surprised with this Larry Carlton one. It's got a really, really incredible neck, and that's probably one of the most important parts of guitar to get right, I think. And this just feels as good as any neck I've ever really felt before. Lovely rolled fretboards, just a great all-round instrument. And then I decided, okay, does lightning strike twice? So I got the Les Paul version as well, the gold top. Basically, these guitars for me, they do the job of, you know, they're not a massively expensive instrument, but they play incredibly well, and they're definitely sort of giggable guitars that you could take to a gig. I don't generally play Les Pauls all the time, so it makes sense for me to have a Les Paul style instrument, but I don't need £2,000 tied up in a Les Paul instrument, given that most of my time I will be playing a Strat. So for me, that's what I like about Sire Guitars. It's a really good price point, but a really high quality instrument that is 100% giggable. I started a YouTube channel quite a while ago now, maybe like 2008, and I was just uploading guitar playing, and I feel like YouTube was a place where I could kind of show what I was working on in some ways. And up until very recently, that was all I would do. I'd just film guitar playing. Maybe I'd get a new guitar and I'd say, this is me test driving this particular instrument, and I'd upload that, and you know, things sometimes did okay, not often though. And then more recently, I started doing a few gear demos and bits and pieces. Like I started demoing the Line 6 HX Stomp and Helix and bits and pieces like that. And people started to ask, what are you doing there? Or, you know, could you explain how you played that part? So there's been this kind of organic growth, and I've started kind of putting up lessons and licks and talking about how I would do certain things, whether that's from gear to whatever. But it's essentially just things that people have asked me, and then just trying to play guitar every day. YouTube has become a big part of that, especially in the last year when it's not really been possible to get out and play in front of people or with people too much, or at all. Anyway, so that's why I started YouTube, and that's where you can find kind of most of my stuff up there, sort of looking at modelers, doing gear reviews, comparisons, and yeah, that sort of stuff, lessons and licks, talking about my favourite players and chords and that sort of stuff, and occasional jazz. If I had one piece of advice to give aspiring musicians or people who want to do music, I think try and be flexible. I feel like when I was young, I had a certain expectation of what my career might be, or you know, the kind of thing that I might be doing, and that's miles different to what I'm actually doing. It doesn't mean that whatever I'm doing now I would regret choices that I've made, if that makes sense. It's just a case of trying to be in the moment and trying to enjoy each moment along the way, and that's kind of also the approach I take to playing and practicing guitar. I just try and enjoy every day that I spend on the instrument. You know, sometimes you come home from a day at work in a supermarket or whatever, like I used to back in the day, and guitar was really the only positive thing that I would have. So I wasn't necessarily worried too much about, oh, I want to sweep pick at 180 BPM, but more I want to enjoy the time that I'm spending playing the guitar. So that's my advice. Try and enjoy the time that you're spending either playing guitar by yourself, practicing, filming videos, whatever you're doing as a musician in 2021, or as hopefully things start to develop a bit more, playing with people again. Just try and enjoy each of those moments. I think that's really the key thing, what music is all about anyway. I don't think it's necessarily supposed to be this thing that we just work head down super hard over and don't ever look up and just enjoy what's actually happening. So thank you for watching. Go check me out on YouTube if you want to. See you in a bit.